Freestyle travel. Hey everybody, Kenny Flannery here, as always, and this is a fun one. This episode I'm going to tell you about hitchhiking from Holland to Spain in a little less than a week to get here, and it was just an awesome trip with particularly every night was just different where I wound up. People taking me in, camping, getting dropped off directly at the Eiffel Tower, which was bit of a chore, actually. Just, I don't know. Not exactly where you want to wind up at midnight with nowhere to stay, but definitely worse things that could happen. So it's going to be a good one. Aiming for Portugal and stuff too, but I'll get into that at the end. But yeah, it's been a good stretch getting down here, and now I'm seeing a familiar face here in Spain. So it's working out pretty good. Exciting trip hopping stuff. There's like one thing I've been dying to tell you guys, and it's just not quite ready, but today was a huge day. Basically gave a demo to this one company. I'm gonna have access to some data. I don't know, maybe I'll give you a teaser at the end, but it is definitely a new feature I've wanted to have for a long time, and I should get that up pretty soon. Next time I get 2 days in a row to get some computer time in, I will get that feature up and running. That'll be an exciting one. I wanted to mention Magic Mind, as I always kind of tie Magic Mind to trip hopping a little bit, which is the little mental performance shot that I've taken a lot while I've been coding. It's a couple ounces. I think it's mostly matcha tea, but it's got a bunch of nootropics and adaptogens in it, and a bunch of kind of mushrooms, not the psychedelic kind, but the kind that help you focus, relieve stress, and that kind of thing. It's all this stuff jam-packed into a little shot you can take in the morning. With or without your coffee. I drink it with coffee because coffee's awesome. And yeah, just helps you dial in focus. Definitely helped me with some of the trip hopping stuff in the beginning, and also recently in Phoenix. Just kind of became part of the thing every morning. Get my coffee brewing in the French press and take a shot of this Magic Mind, and then I would just be locked in. Whatever I was doing, I was totally focused on the task for the day. And I've actually used it a day or two before hitchhiking too. Pretty good stuff. Chuck a couple in the backpack, you know. It's good stuff, and they're super cool people. Everyone I've interacted with over there at Magic Mind is just seems pretty legit, and they sent me a code to pass on to you guys if you want to give it a shot. So that code is, well, you can go to magicmind.com/freestyleLT, which I think is limited time. Yeah, magicmind.com/freestyleLT. And that gets you 48% off your first subscription, or 20% off a one-time purchase. So yeah, subscription, they'll actually just make sure you're always getting your 15 or 30 Magic Mind bottles every month. Pretty convenient. So give it a shot. I think you'll like it. I definitely like it. It's good stuff, and yeah, they're doing some fancy stuff. They're moving. The momentum is the up arrow is up. So good stuff with Magic Mind. Yeah, and back to trip hopping. Like I say every episode, sign up if you haven't signed up already. Create an account and just start checking it out. And yes, this new feature I'm going to build is like so simple, but it's going to be so useful. Just an extra addition. I want to say it's so bad, but I want to wait until it's actually up and running so you can check it out. But yeah, all the other stuff on trip hopping is just awesome. Some people there's been a little flurry of signups lately. I don't know, maybe people are hearing it here on the podcast, or the word of mouth is starting to get started, but people are starting to jump on there, which is cool. My favorite feature on there kind of is being able to go live, which is just sharing your live location. Not exactly to the meter where you're at, but just the general like area you're in. If you want to hang out with someone else, like while you're traveling, you can go live and see other people that want to possibly go grab a beer, grab a coffee, go trip around, or even if you're hitchhiking, which is like what I'm most excited about, is you can see other people who are hitchhiking live around the world. So that's pretty cool. Even if they're not nearby, even if they're across the planet, it's just kind of cool to see, oh, somebody's hitchhiking in Tokyo right now. Good luck to them, you know? or someone's trying to hang out in Switzerland. And maybe you're not in Switzerland, but maybe you've been there before, and you can just chuck them a message and be like, hey, I see you're near a brewery, is probably what I would tell them. Go check out this brewery. So yeah, get on trip hopping. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, that's that. Let me tell you, this has been a really fun past week. Obviously hanging out with Walter was awesome. And just, yeah, I was like, all right, mission Portugal, let's go. So let me get into all the rides, the getting stuck, the rain, people taking me in, driving across Spain. Yeah, me behind the wheel. All the things happen. Let me jump into it. Okay, so yeah, last episode I talked about getting over to mainland Europe, Schengen area, making my way over to Walter's place and my buddy Robin too, both in the Netherlands. One in Amsterdam, one south of there in The Hague, and excellent time there hanging out with Walter. Just, yeah, catching up. I designed this travel game. I can't remember what I talked about the last episode, but yeah, I designed this card-based travel game at Walter's place, and it's pretty fun actually. So I think I'll maybe make a version you can print out. Him and his son are playing. His son's 10 years old, and they were playing it together. I don't know why I started doing it. Just like, I guess we were talking about games or travel or something, and I kind of had this idea in the back of my head. So I was like, oh, let me fool around with this. And the next thing I knew, I was just making the game. So it's cool. It's like you take turns and decide how you'll get somewhere, where you'll stay, and then you read a card and kind of tells you, you got a ride from a circus worker and they took you to your destination and you get this many points. I don't know, it's kind of fun. So yeah, maybe I'll make that available to people on my Patreon at first. Shout out to my Patreon. If you're into that, you can go to patreon.com/kenflannery and join my Patreon for the cost of buying me a beer a month. And I do like a micro podcast on there, by the way. Upload some extra pictures on there. I don't upload to other spots and that kind of thing. And yeah, it's kind of cool. But maybe for those people on the Patreon, you can try out this little card game. So anyways, yeah, a lot of fun over there at Walter's, catching up, doing that kind of thing. And then, yeah, I decided, let me get down to Portugal. I've only been to Portugal one time in the north, actually for Hitchfest 2015. One of the organizers asked if I would like give a little workshop about like ultralight travel and hitchhiking. It was kind of fun. But yeah, that's kind of what I did there. So my experience in Portugal was mostly hanging out with people from all over the world, camping and stuff. So it wasn't really like a Portuguese experience so much. I did hang out in Porto a little bit, which is a very cool city. But that was about it. So I've always wanted to go back. So that was sort of the motivation. Let me hitchhike on down there. I've got a friend in the south I'm going to go see, and yeah, several reasons why to go there, and I'll get into that towards the end too, because I'm not there yet. I'm recording this in Spain. So this was my goal, and I thought maybe I'll go to Luxembourg. Luxembourg is a tiny little country, bordering Belgium. Like, if someone's going there, I'll go there. Walter was telling me about the area in Belgium that borders Luxembourg. He's like, it's pretty nice kind of nature sort of area. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'll go there. Just depends on the ride. So the way it shook out is I started getting rides, and someone dropped me off in Breda in the Netherlands first, so I was on my way. But then someone picked me up who was kind of going straight down into France. So it's like, all right, I'll do that. Getting through Belgium, and eventually I got a ride from a Turkish truck driver. And that was like the long ride of the day. So hopped up with him, and he said he was going all the way almost to Paris. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get to almost Paris probably by dark. And I just assumed, okay, I'll be camping out somewhere there. But as it turned out, he did drop me off like just after sunset, basically dark, at a gigantic toll booth with like a dozen lanes of traffic. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to camp here. There are so many cars. Let me try to hitch one more ride and see where it gets me. And sure enough, a couple from Mexico City, just on vacation, just traveling around all Europe. They scooped me up, and they were going to Paris. So I'm like, all right, shit, I guess I'm going to Paris. It's already dark. Another like hour south. So sure enough, not only do we go into Paris, but directly to the Eiffel Tower, because they're on vacation, they're doing the touristy thing, and I guess where do you go in Paris if you don't know any better? Directly to the Eiffel Tower. So that's where I got dropped off, and yeah, being almost midnight. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's nice to see the Eiffel Tower. I've seen it before. It's definitely like a legendary thing, and to see it at night when it's all lit up, it's nice. And you see couples kissing and taking pictures and all that jazz, you know. It's cool. And then after it's like that, you're like, okay, where am I gonna sleep? So, like any big old city, it's not exactly easy. So I kind of looked at the map, satellite view. I'm like, all right, there's a forest south of Paris, but I guess I got to walk that far. And that's what I did. So I just walked along the water for the most part. Over an hour, probably close to 2 hours before I actually got to this like somewhat foresty kind of area. And once I got there, it was easy to camp, but well after midnight, 1, 2 a.m., something like that by the time I got down there. But camped out for the night, and rain was looming, and the rain would come, but not yet. So luckily it didn't rain on me that night. And I got back on the road and kind of kept it moving. Started getting rides right away. I got myself a chocolate croissant, because why not, you know? When in France, gotta do some kind of move. So a couple younger dudes picked me up, gave me a short ride. Father-son kind of gave me a ride. There's a ton of holiday traffic. This was like Easter weekend, so like all Europe was on the road. So it's a lot of sitting in traffic. I bet I would have made it even further than Paris that first day, which was still a pretty good first day. But yeah, just a lot of people on the road. Like going through Belgium, for example, in Antwerp, it was like 2 or 3 hours just going through that one city. Like thick traffic. But anyways, yeah, I'm just going like spot to spot, getting these short rides, and then this family picked me up. A guy from Cameroon, wife from Martinique, and their daughter in the back, and they said they were going close to Bordeaux, which was like the next big city. So I was like, hell yeah. So I was with them for several hours, riding with them, and then we were pulling off the highway, and they're like, oh, we're getting real close to Bordeaux, where we're going. And I'm like, okay, I guess. Probably should have stayed on the highway, but also probably not after what happened. So we veer off the highway, and it's like an hour later by the time we stop. I'm like, if I was driving, I would have already been in Bordeaux. And now I'm like way off the highway towards the coast in some small little town. They finally dropped me off in like Royan, something like some little town like that. Yeah, logistics wise, probably should have stayed, but you know, I'm not in a hurry. And even when we were pulling off, I was like, this is probably logistically wrong, but life-wise good. And it turned out to be life-wise good, because I hitched a couple really short rides. Like one of the rides was maybe a minute long. This one guy who spoke no English picked me up, and he literally went to the next roundabout as far as he was going on my way anyways. So probably had like less than an hour of daylight left, and I was waiting at this one spot, still trying to get back to the main highway that would go to Bordeaux. Kind of middle of nowhere-ish, but near a little grocery store, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm in France. The next ride I might not be in France. Like, let me just go get like a brick of cheese and some bread and some cheap shitty Aldi wine and just chow that down real quick, and whatever. If I don't get a ride, I'll camp around here. So did that. I got some camembert cheese and some bread and a little bottle of wine for like €2 and change, all that stuff. So it was still good. Still good. The baguette alone was just 35 cents, and the wine was like 50 cents or something like that. The cheese was the most expensive part of that equation. So I sat down, I chowed like half of all that, drank half the wine bottle. It wasn't like a full wine bottle. It's like a little one, but Then went back to the ramp, and this guy picked me up pretty quick. Spoke a little bit of English, a little bit, and we're driving, and he's, you know, asking my story, and we're communicating the best that we can. And I'm, you know, at first I told him I was going to Bordeaux, but then I sort of explained, well, I'm actually going to Portugal. Bordeaux's just the next big dot on the map, you know, like that's the direction I'm going. And he was asking where I was going to sleep and that sort of thing. I'm like, I'm not sure. And he's like, it's a bad idea to go to Bordeaux. It's about to be dark. It's about to be like raining. He's like, why don't you come home, meet my wife, and have a meal and crash for the night? I was like, you nailed it. Yes. That is a instant yes. No hesitation yes. I'm doing that. So cruise back, met his wife who spoke better English, so she was sort of translating for us and stuff, but super nice couple, beautiful house. There's a gate. I come in, a little complex. I guess they bought what used to be like a sort of farm and redid the whole thing. Real nice place. I mean, she walked me upstairs and she's like, this is your room. This is your living room. Here's your kitchen. I was like, oh shit. So I had like the whole top floor to myself. Not that I was hanging out up there, but yeah, she showed me the bathroom and got showered up, came downstairs, and she's an excellent cook. She made like this whole chicken and mushroom sort of deal, and they're pouring me different wines, and then told me that I was in, and the dude had traveled for about 5 years. Yeah, 5 years around the world at his pace, going all kinds of places. So we're just talking about travels, and then they told me that we're in like the cognac region. So what does he do? He goes and grabs several different cognacs for me to try, a brandy, and then after all that, just, you know, talking about liquor and beer and all this stuff, he's like, oh, Japanese whiskey, you ever heard of that? And I'm like, yeah, I've heard of Japanese whiskey. And he's like, try this. So just an awesome night. Just, you know, sitting at the counter with this couple and just telling travel stories and drinking it up. But like the cool kind of drinking where you're drinking cognac because you're in cognac. The good cognac that he poured me 2 or 3 different cognacs. The best one he poured out of what looked like a cigar case, you know, like a cigar shaped little test tube bottle. Fuck, that one was good. Super good. So yeah, drank all that clean, and then passed out, woke up. Fucking rain pouring, you know, you can't be more grateful than that. Wake up having had a night full of chicken and mushrooms and local wines and stuff, and wake up inside with it pouring outside, knowing so easily could have been out there. If I relived that night, you know, 10 times, at least 9 of them, I'd be out there camping. So, but not that night. No, it was good. So in the morning, still raining. Had a little breakfast, some coffee, kicked it with them, and then rain died down a little bit. So this was Easter, so Easter Sunday. So he gave me a ride halfway to the highway, back to some kind of road, dropped me off to continue my mission towards Portugal. And yeah, the rain was really like swaying in and out. Luckily, where he dropped me off, I could kind of get under this one tree in between waiting for cars, just out in the countryside. No businesses, no nearby. Nothing. Still a little ways from the highway. But yeah, a couple in an RV picked me up. So that at least got me to the highway. And then another couple picked me up going down the highway, kind of almost to Bordeaux. And yeah, almost to Bordeaux, pretty close. But they dropped me off at like a gas station, highway gas station on there, and it was just pissing rain at that point. So I just went inside. I mean, there's nothing I could do, you know. So I already had my sign that said España, Spain, you know. So I just kind of left that out and sat there and just kind of hoped I'd make eyes with somebody. You know, I didn't want to be that guy just bugging everybody and potentially get kicked out asking around, but had my sign pretty clear. And yeah, I was there for a few hours just waiting. I'm like, is there going to be a break in the rain? Like, it doesn't have to stop raining, but can you chill a little bit? Enough for me to get out there and, you know, stand there and try to catch a ride. But yeah, it took a few hours. So In the meantime, my buddy was like, who I was going to see in Portugal, was like, there's this festival going on, like a Burning Man kind of festival. I can get us tickets. Are you in? I was like, hell yeah. So that was sort of locked in. So that hasn't happened yet. We'll get into some of that towards the outro. But I was like, all right, cool. Things are happening in the future. But eventually, yeah, the rain sort of chilled out enough. Still drizzling, but I went out there with the rain gear on, and yeah, just kind of waited until eventually this Belgian woman picked me up. And she was just going to Bordeaux, which, like I said, was close, like 20 kilometers down the road. So she was going to hike the Camino de Santiago, but she wasn't directly going that way. At the moment, she was going elsewhere in France in the opposite direction. So she was only going to be able to take me as far as Bordeaux in the moment. So that's what happened. There's a bunch of, I don't know, accidents, traffic around Bordeaux. So she dropped me off in the south. I left my sign in her car. I'm kind of bummed. So I had this big whiteboard, fold-up whiteboard sign that I made out of huge rolled-up white paper and a book covering gloss, so I could use a whiteboard marker, and it was folded in this perfect way, and it unfolded to be the ground sheet to my tent, so I could put it under my bivvy, rather, which just, protects the bivvy from being directly on the ground, just makes it last longer and makes it slightly more comfortable. And it's kind of this, and it'd also be the sheet in the back of my backpack. It's kind of this multi-purpose thing that I've had for a few years, and yeah, just left it right there in the dash in her car like a dummy. It's kind of a bummer. It's not like it's a huge deal. It's not critical to anything that I do. It is nice to be able to pull it out and make a sign whenever I need to, but I don't make a ton of signs, so whatever. And it's something I could recreate for a couple bucks, but yeah, probably actually more like $5 or something, which is kind of a lot right now. But anyway, I was a little bit bummed. I usually don't leave shit behind in cars or people's houses, but that happened. And anyways, it was dumping rain as I get into Bordeaux, and an hour or two daylight left, and it just got to the point I was in a weird spot too, like to hitchhike. Just the on-ramp was not very great, and probably mostly local traffic where I was, and just raining harder and harder. So I was like, fuck this, let me just like get my bearings. So there was a McDonald's I could practically see real close, and I was like, let me get in there and use their Wi-Fi. And the McDonald's was so big I didn't even have to buy anything, I just fucking sat down knowing they was gonna care. Sat down, plugged in, charged up, and used the Wi-Fi. And I was kind of thinking, fuck, does anyone live here? Maybe I can find like a last minute trust route host or something. Looking at the satellite view, like where can I camp around here? But I'm like, also it's fucking raining, like I can camp in the rain, but it's just not ideal. Should I try to hitchhike a little more? Just trying to wait out the rain and see what would happen. So finally the rain did die down a little bit. I didn't manage to find any like couch surfing host. I was only in there for like 40 minutes. So eventually one guy responded the next day who I sent a message to, and he was out of town anyways. It was Easter Sunday, so not the best day to be looking for hosts. So I walked out and I walked to the next on-ramp. I'm like, let me just walk to the next on-ramp. I'll try to hitch a ride. If it doesn't work, I'll start walking. And I scoped out a place where I could definitely camp. Luckily, I did get a ride. These two guys, and it was a short ride, but it was a beneficial ride for sure, because they got me to the edge of the ring road and getting down towards the main highway, leaving town. Walking on the highway there, sun went down, did not get a ride, and yeah, it was just kind of threatening to rain all night, but this spot I found was kind of remote, and I found a nice little spot under the bridge, a hobo classic. So if you've never camped under a bridge before, some overpasses, and this was the highway, overpassing a little local road, but a road that no one was using apparently, because it was just kind of in a weird spot. So if you're ever under one of those kind of bridges and it slopes up to where it hits the bridge, like right where that pinch is, where it's the slope meets the bridge itself, there's usually like a little flat area right there, just wide enough to camp. So that's what I did. I had this totally dry spot, And yeah, just slept under there. It's noisy. It's not noisy. There's cars going over. But, you know, as it gets later, there's less traffic and it's less noisy. It's kind of natural, you know, so. And then the traffic ramps up in the morning and it's a nice little natural alarm clock. Let's go with that. So, yeah, that's how I spent my Easter. Camped out right there by Bordeaux. I had just enough wine left from the other night. Just drank that before going to sleep. Perfect, right? So, yeah. Trying to think how that day started then. Oh yeah, so that was the breakaway day, actually, because I walked back up to the main highway. Got a ride pretty quickly from some dude who gave me a ride to one of those like gas stations on the highway. That's what I like about Europe, which isn't so common in like the US, is a lot of these highways are like, I mean, yeah, a lot of these highways have gas stations like right there on the side. It's not like you pull off and you're in town and there's a gas station right off the on-ramp. It's like the highway is like, if you're in the US and you don't know what I'm talking about, you definitely have been to like a rest area. So it's like a rest area, except there's like, that's where the gas station is. And on the other side of the highway, you see the other one. But anyways, you can stand there on the ramp and everybody is going your way because they're getting back on, you know, eastbound or southbound, or whatever it is direction you're going. So it's kind of nice. So in this case, really nice. This van stopped and this dude let me in. It was this dude from Holland, and he was driving all the way to the south of Spain. Fuck yeah. So I rode, I don't know, 1,200, 1,300 kilometers with this guy, 13 hours or whatever it was. I rode all day with this guy and he was super cool. I mentioned that I did some like coding and he knew what Flutter was, which is the language that I'm writing trip hopping in that not everybody knows about. He was kind of familiar with it. And yeah, he had all kinds of stories. And also he asked if I had a driver's license. Not that it mattered because I actually don't know how it works with the international driver's license thing. I don't have that. But anyways, he was like, "You want to drive?" And I was like, he'd been driving for hours and only slept. He'd been coming all the way from Holland himself, just straight. So he was tired, you know. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'll drive. Just try not to get pulled over so I don't have to find out anything about this international driver's license stuff. Let's avoid learning the details. So that's what we did. Perfect. Yeah, stopped. He was filling me full of Red Bulls to keep me going. He was able to drink a couple beers, sit in the passenger seat, chill out. Nod off, take some naps in between good conversation and stuff, and just, yeah, crossing the border into Spain, getting down there into Spain, all the way down, past San Sebastian, going Burgos, getting around Madrid, not getting caught up in any traffic, go. And this was not the direct way I was going to go to Portugal, but who cares? Like I said, I'm just winging it, you know? I just decided to go to Portugal a week ago. So I'm like, he was going past Malaga, Maribel, some other town like that on the south coast of Spain. I'm like, yeah, I'll go all the way. And as we got closer, he's like, yeah, I'm staying with a friend, so it'd be kind of weird to like, I don't know, I can't really like invite you on his behalf, or you know what I mean. So he's like, but actually you could sleep in the van. I was like, oh, hell yeah. It just saves me from having to look for a campsite, you know, because we were going to show up after midnight at some point. So yeah, I rode all the way with him past Estepona. If you know the geography, you do. If you don't, you don't. It's whatever. In the south of Spain. And yeah, we pull into this guy's apartment complex or whatever. And he's like, yeah, there's a bunch of food in the back. It's going to go bad if you don't eat it. So eat that and sleep in the van, and fucking nice to meet you. Exchange, you know, WhatsApp information. Because like I said, we had a bunch of good conversations and stuff. So we're going to keep in touch. So yeah, he took off and I started getting settled in the van there. But then a few minutes later, his buddy came and was like, "Kenny?" And I was like, yeah. He's like, "Come inside." So I guess he brought me up to his buddy, and his buddy's like, "What? You're making him sleep in the van? Let's bring this fucker in here." So, and he actually cooked up this awesome meal, his buddy, Fernando. And yeah, just cooked up a meal, chowed a little bit, talked a little bit, had a tea. It was late at that point, so yeah, we all passed out. Had a nice little couch to crash on. And then, yeah, woke up in the morning, a little breakfast, a little tea again, kicked it for a minute. And I'm like, all right, let me party on towards Portugal. And actually at this point, I'd realized, because now I was all the way in the south there's a friend of mine I'd met initially at the Couchsurfing Collective in Alaska in 2008, and I've since seen in Sevilla, Spain. And I hadn't seen him in maybe 5 years or something. I'm like, I wonder if he's still in Sevilla. Messaged him. Sure enough, he was, because now that town was on my way to Portugal and only 2 or 3 hours driving from where I was now. So I'm like, all right, let me catch up with him. This is perfect. Yeah, at this point in my travels, I kind of know people all over the damn place. So sometimes it works out pretty good like that. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to aim for him. 'Cause sure enough, like I said, he's still there in Sevilla, or in the town next to it now, not living directly in the city. So I was excited to go see him. So started hitching, and because I was on the south there, I was kind of off the main highway. So I was like, this could be a long day. Like, even though I'm 2-3 hours away driving, I'm like in a, you know, these smaller roads that go through towns and cities, like sometimes a little harder to catch rides in those places. Even just logistically, because there's like less places to pull over and people aren't going too far typically, but totally lucked out. Got a ride and off a roundabout from a guy who was going to the next big city. So he dropped me off there, walked up on the highway. That was kind of an hour and a half of just kind of walking to a better spot, actually. So it's like the reverse. What I was just saying, sometimes it's like that too. But eventually, so a van full of dudes gave me a ride. The kid in the back spoke a little bit of English, but that was about it. They got me a ride a little bit further up, and then walked up on the highway there, and this awesome woman picked me up who actually does a workaway. She's got this kind of farm. She was sort of explaining it to me, a property, and has these workaway people from all over the world come and volunteer for a couple weeks to months and months to years at a time. She said in some cases, some people came for a couple weeks and are still there. It's part of the whole shtick now. She was super cool. She gave me a ride up a little bit further. And then finally this guy from Pakistan, who actually has now been living in San Sebastian, which I passed through the day before. He was going all the way up there. It would have been a kick-ass. If I was going back, that would have been an 8-hour ride. But wasn't going all the way back to France. I was just going to Sevilla, and he was passing through. So he dropped me off in Sevilla. Happy freaking days. And yeah, just waited for my buddy to wrap up stuff he was doing, and linked up with him a few hours later. And then it's just been awesome since. That was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So yeah, caught up with him. Like I said, he used to be involved in couch surfing, then he used to be involved in trust routes and stuff too. So we were just talking about hospitality networks. Now he's like kind of involved in Airbnb stuff. So yeah, plenty of just catching up on, you know, regular stuff in our lives, and then just, you know, just sort of the whole hospitality network industry, and, you know, how Airbnb sort of screwed up couch surfing, and different kinds of conversations. It's been pretty good catching up with him. And yeah, what did we do? Just kicked it around, and this morning decided to go to this other town called Rokia or something, about less than an hour away, where I guess there's like this huge pilgrimage towards the end of May or June, where like 500,000 people all descend upon this one little town with these dirt roads and a big old church, where I guess somebody claims they saw the Mother Mary long ago, you know, one of those kind of things. So we just kind of went there, checked it out. A bunch of flamingos and ponies living across the water, that sort of thing. And yeah, just been kicking it. And also had that demo meeting with this freaking company I want to tell you about. Ah, man. You know what? Maybe I'll just tell you about it in the outro, and you'll just have to wait. Trip hopping thing, because yeah, I'm excited because that just happened today. But yeah, so that's today. So let me get into the outro and tell you what might be next. But yeah, it was a fun week, all the things. All right, let me jump into it. Alrighty, yeah, so kind of love those kind of hitches, those multi-day hitchhikes where kind of check a lot of the boxes, you know, have big long rides where I get to kind of make a new friend, also getting to drive. I kind of enjoy driving. So it's kind of a double bonus. Like I got him to Spain much quicker because he didn't have to stop and sleep like 2 more times, you know, and I get to drive this van. That was fun, and you know, getting taken in by people and meeting people that way. Yeah, all the things. Just a classic little hitchhike there, Netherlands to Spain, and I still have a little bit to go to get to Portugal, but I'll be getting there. So yeah, that is the goal. I'll be taking off I don't know, the next day or two to continue on to Portugal. That's the idea. So I've got my buddy Casper living in the south, just a couple hours or so away. Go check out. He's been living there for a while. He's heavily involved in trust routes. Linked up with him a year ago, close to Berlin. There's like a trust routes meetup there for a little initiative they're working on now, which I've talked about before. It's kind of nerdy, so I won't talk too much about it now. Maybe the next episode or so if I get involved with that a little bit more. Some trip hopping overlap there, sharing data. So yeah, stoked to see him. And as I kind of mentioned, he messaged me and asked if I wanted to go to this festival and that he would get the tickets. And it's called Flamingalo. It's like a Burning Man inspired, or maybe it is Portugal's Burning Man, something like that. Yeah, it's just they seem to be calling it Portugal's Burning Man. So that's going on in like a week or so. So I guess he's got us tickets to that. That should be kind of cool. I don't know if it's 2 days, 5 days, not much more than that, but should be a trip. Maybe literally. Figuratively, should be cool. No idea what to expect, but that'll be cool. So stoked to see him. And yeah, I might as well mention it because I keep on alluding to it the last couple episodes or so. This fucking feature I'm excited about. So basically, yeah, I'll just tell you. Maybe by the time you listen to it, it actually is up and running. So one of the core features of trip hopping is just this like transportation search. It's one of the first features ever in trip hopping was like the idea is that you say where you are, you say where you want to go, and I want to show you every possible way to get there. So if you're in Lisbon, Portugal, and you want to go to Berlin, I want to show you all the spots you can hitchhike from, all the hitchhiking advice, all the ride shares that might be going on, all the buses and trains and planes and every which way to go. So this is the buses and trains element. So I'm gonna now finally have access to all the bus and train information across the world, pretty much, like except for maybe like India. So all the schedules, all the pricing, all the ticket availability, fucking everything. Open up the floodgates. I'm stoked. So yeah, that feature, and I just had to. So this company that has all this aggregated information and API, blah blah blah. Maybe kind of nerdy if you don't know it. It's I'm gonna get all that info, so then I can incorporate that into the searches. I'm super excited about it because it's so basic, but it's so important, and there's so many cool things that I'll be able to do with it. That there's other sites that have access to this kind of information, and some are decent. Actually, like Wanderoo is a site that I've used. And there's a couple others. There's one, Rome to Rio, which used to be kind of good. Now it's kind of sloppy. So there's stuff that has had this. But trip hopping will definitely be the first site that's showing you hitchhiking as well, and ride shares and just everything. I mean, that's the idea. Everything. One spot. Ferries. I got ferries working like a couple months ago. So you can see some ferry information. But this will be huge. I'm super excited. So yeah, I had a meeting with them a month ago, just talking about what I was doing and just them making sure I wasn't some freak. So they were into it, and they gave me some testing information, and that's gone well. So today was just for me to get on a call with them and give them a demo of what I built, and for them to make sure I was doing it correctly, blah, blah, blah. It went super smooth and should be good. So yeah, I'm just really excited about it. Like I said, it's basic, but there's cool things that can be done. So besides just being able to search from where you are and where you want to go and see that bus information, which can often be the cheapest thing. Like, so if you don't want to hitchhike and a flight's too much, a lot of times some of these buses are stupid cheap. I don't know. I remember when I lived in New York City, like you could sometimes get buses to Philadelphia for $1, you know? So I'll be able to show all that stuff. And for me personally, I'm excited to build a feature where you can not know where you want to go and just say, I'm in Lisbon. Where can I go? Like, just show me some stuff. An $8 bus to Barcelona? Okay, that's crazy. I'm going to Barcelona, I guess. So I'm super excited. I didn't want to tell you guys till I was ready, but I just did. So get excited for it. And depending on when you're listening to this, maybe it's live. So that's what's up. If I get to Casper's a little bit early, I'm sure we'll be geeking out. He is a fellow travel tech geek, so some of that might be going on. So yeah, that's what's up. That's the story of getting here. Check out that Magic Mind that I mentioned earlier. That link was magicmind.com/freestyleLT if you want to save money on that junk. I recommend it because it's good. And yeah, I'm excited for Portugal. Like I said, I've only been to the north, and that was a kind of a quick trip. So a lot of good times ahead. Weather's beautiful. Happy days. Hitchhiking should be easy. Camping should be easy when I need to. This festival should be cool. Getting this bus is working. Happy days. Things are good. Things are good. So hope you guys are all kicking ass too, and I will see you down the road. With all my shit straight, I'll get my big brain.